Good afternoon, evening, and morning to everyone. Welcome to today's Cere Network AMA with Cere Network team. As you see, we're all here, or some of us anyways. Because I said Cere.
Sorry.
So today we'll be joined by Fred, Cere Network CEO, of course, and Martijn, the Cere Network marketing lead, and myself, Chris Ward, the new extended developer program manager. And of course, we're all here excited to have you. The rest of the team is joining as well. And we're here, of course, to answer all of your questions or do our best trying. And approximately the format of the meeting today will go as you've probably seen in the past. I will hand over the microphone in a little bit to let Fred introduce and discuss the reason we're here today, which is the Cere Network Vision 2.0 paper we released last week, which of course, if you haven't already had a chance to review it, please do check our website for quick links. You'll find a blog post and links to the Vision 2.0 PDF. Definitely take a look at that and let us know what you think. I'm sure you already have, but anyways, so following that, we'll get to the point, which is why you're all here, answer some questions as openly and honestly as possible. And I know we haven't had one of these for a while, so there is a lot to catch up on, and we will be doing more of these more often, as we had in the past. So also, just so you know, there's no chatting live talking in the Zoom call itself. So if you do have any questions, follow up or otherwise, just let us know in Telegram. We have the team there monitoring the chat, and we'll be trying to push back questions to us to answer in real time. And as long as, if we can, we will. And otherwise, we'll be following up within the week for sure, if not immediately after the call. And or during the call, in fact, and I think some of the team will also be adding some graphics and so forth that might help illustrate some of the questions that we might not be able to do verbally so well. And then in the last couple of minutes, I will let Fred or anyone else in the team provide some closing remarks, and we'll hang up and get back to work. So with that, I'll let you, Fred, I guess, introduce the Vision 2 and say hi to everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is obviously something that we've been wanting to do more of. Can we admit all the other people? Just admit all. I'm just gonna admit all.
Yep. Thank you. I think we're good. Oh, I'll just keep admitting everybody here. You just
sure. So I think thank you, Chris, for introducing yourself and also quickly talk about what we're trying to do here. So we just want to be I think more open and just have more touch points with the community, and also I think try out maybe a little bit different format, right? So we can really just engage in kind of a fireside chat kind of a feel, right? Just as if we're all in an event together, and we can all meet you guys. And I think first thing to get out of the way, I think, maybe Chris, it'll be good to have a little bit of kind of background, right? Like why you joined and where your background is and how you're going to be facilitating a lot more of these community events in the future. So do you want to quickly jump on that first? And then
Sure thing. So I have a background in engineering, especially test engineering at Red Hat. I was there for almost 10 years. And I've worked in the gaming industry and recently in Web3 on the Zero Knowledge podcast, doing research and working with the community over on the cryptography side of things. So I have basically 15 years of experience working with open source software developers, primarily in different veins, specifically trying to work to encourage and engage and really onboard developers into open source and various open source projects. So I've come on board here to help do exactly that, really hone in and tighten up our connection with the contributors in the broader open source ecosystem. And I'm here to learn a lot I have a lot to learn on the Web3 side specifically. The community is slightly different, but in general, I believe there's a lot of overlap, and especially on the engineering front. So I hope to be able to bring some of my experience to the team and really start to connect and build the open source and the external contributor side of the Cere network. So yeah, that's
Great. Yeah, so this is like a new format, right? This is the first time we're actually using the video format. And I think we're trying to sort of optimize this experience. So let us know afterwards, right, what we could improve on, and what are some of the things we can do a little differently. Because I think we're using both, Telegram as a way of ingesting all the new questions for the AMA, but we want to use the video format to more effectively talk about it, right? We did our best to sort of take everything that we've been focused on, and because we've just been rapidly innovating and working on part of our protocol, and also working with actual number of key integrations that will see the light very soon. Sometimes we're too much into the weeds, right? Too much into just working on the core of the innovation and not focus enough in terms of extrapolating that and put that into a very, very sort of community facing and developer facing kind of format. We're trying to we've been trying to change that in the last few months, right? So some of the things we already have started seeing change is good people like Chris, who's coming in, who have a lot of experience in developer outreach and community building, specifically with key technical members of the community. This is generally like a sort of something we're trying to do a much better job of. So the Vision 2.0 and the articles that goes along with it, and also the there is some more publicized version of it that got a lot of media coverage, right? In everything from traditional Web 2 to Web 3 media outlets, right? I think that was very well received. So there was a lot of kind of enthusiasm or questions coming from the community to say, okay, how are we going to really build on this vision? How are we going to really roll that out, right? So I think much of the question is really related to that. So I think I'll answer some of the questions that were that kind of we got a lot of requests for. So first I'll talk about.
You may just go ahead and ask the questions then.
Oh, sure.
I wasn't sure if you wanted to give like an overview, like a summary of the Vision 2 before we dove into the questions, or you just want to dive right into the questions.
Yeah. So that's what I was trying to communicate, which is Vision 2.0 and also our brand new updated website is really a sort of much more pragmatic way of describing, okay, what are we building and what it's going to be able to do for whom, and we're setting up the foundation on top of which we'll be releasing a lot more good content, a lot more very, very specific stories, right? Okay, about which business or which game or which application or which brand, right, was able to work with Cere and offer something that's very unique and game-changing using Cere technology, right? Something that previously wasn't thought was possible, because area that we're going into, right, it's so this whole Web3 space is so new. There's still a lot of misunderstanding. There's still a lot of unclarity until we actually bring very, very specific use cases to say, hey, look at these guys. They're able to do this in their game now. Or look at these guys. They're able to do these things for their artists on the platform. Right. We'll look at this media business and transform their business. Right? We will be bringing a lot of these good stories, but before that, we have to really kind of like just do a kind of like a little bit of reset, right? To say, hey, this is something moving forward. This is the platform that will be powering a number of great use cases. Right? We're talking about decentralized content delivery, right? Trustless content delivery, directly stream content to a wallet to the holder of the actual NFT, right? The asset owner. Or you're talking about operating as a sort of a decentralized database that can easily plug and play, right, into a number of applications that allows users to really take true ownership of the content, the achievements, and be able to also monetize that outside of the app stores, right? All these are very, very exciting things that we have in the works, but we've just been terrible, well, at least in 2022, most part of 2022, we've just been so focused on building, right? Not enough focus is put on to interfacing with the community and also extrapolate all this great values, right, that we're bringing to the world, and let people understand and more people join our movement.
All right, so that's of course where I would be coming in, which is, if it's not already clear, then that's definitely where I'll be coming in. So you'll definitely see more news, more announcements, more just general communication feedback coming from within I'll be the central hub connecting the internal engineering team and the PM team to the community. So definitely, if you feel like things are getting too quiet, that's on me, and don't worry, just reach out to me. But you should definitely be seeing a lot more activity, and not only just information, but actually lots of opportunities to get involved on the community side, both as operators and developers and more, in fact. So one of the big focuses that came out of the Vision 2 was related to gaming on Cere Network. We had some questions just like in general, like can you dive in a bit more about the developments on that front?
Sure. Well, I think, first to kind of clarify our kind of focus and positioning, right? So, in addition to gaming, I think what we're doing really sort of is pioneering. We're leading to the future of digital media and brand marketing and, content marketing, as well as like, membership loyalty use cases. There are a ton of these that are in the works. But gaming is a specific focus for us besides a number of integrations that we going on, especially in the media business, because they are very, very much related, right? We already have a number of good integrations that are currently in the works that we're releasing very soon in that sector. So gaming is kind of a very focused vertical for us. And there's a lot that people don't understand, and a lot of, kind of unclarity to say, hey, how are we going to unleash all these capabilities, right? So the best way we thought about doing that, which is kind of take a lot of these really good technology and package it into a demo where I think anyone who's here, anyone who's part of the community can actually go play with, right, very shortly. And again, there have been some kind of a moving targets. I think, we were supposed to release that a few weeks back, but I think we're just updating it so that it can be run in a completely automated way. Anyone can actually just go play it, right? And then experience like all the cool bits and pieces of it that really features, right? What we're actually doing, what we actually will be working with a lot of gaming companies with. So some of those, I can talk a little bit about, some of the things that we're doing, right? So when it comes to gaming business, most people struggle, right, with a few things, right? Usually it comes down to user acquisition, right? This is where a ton of work is actually usually required to adhere to the app stores and figure out how to acquire a lot of users, right, through the app store optimization and tons of campaigns and ad buys and these things. So I think that's actually very, very much centralized way with a very, very expensive tolls that you have to pay, right, to acquire these users. So the first thing that we can do is actually the first part that you actually be able to experience when you play with a demo, right, which will be linked to our website and where anyone can actually play, is to be able to play part of a game that's like completely extracted and hosted on DDC and served in such a way that it's completely serverless, together with some of the toolkits that's bundled inside of it. So what that means is that you should be able to go play like the first level or a couple levels of a game, right? That's actually completely browser based, which means from an ad or from any kind of link, right? You can be able to just launch it, right, in a mobile web and any kind of a browser-based experience allows you to immediately immerse into the actual gameplay, right? Instead of having to go to App Store, figure out how to download the game, figure out like, if this is a good game matches for you or not. Really greatly reduce the friction there. But secondly, because it's completely serverless, because it has the Cere wallet, right? The new wallet that we've been ready for this, that does two things very well. One is the application awareness, right? Application context. Instead of having to go to meta and ask, figure out, okay, what account is doing what, and then figure out, okay, what do I need to do with this application through a number of pop-ups, right?
Yeah.
It's completely kind of allows you to immediately play the game and save your achievements through a custodial wallet they can claim right without leaving that game session, right? Immediately after that, you will be not only this user onboarded, right, with something as simple as an email to be able to claim their wallet and have achievement that's actually stored, right, into DDC, but you can also see a decentralized leaderboard, right? So your achievement and skills and your, it's no longer lives inside the game, right? That you can actually see how you stack up against everyone else. And based on your achievement, you'll be able to claim an NFT that's tied to your actual skill level, right? So with that, immediately then you will be able to take that, right? Together with the wallet, you can actually connect to a portal, right? That will be releasing soon. That allows any game to sort of like attach a game through our SDK, so that person can actually use that NFT that just earned and bring it into the game, right? Or a marketplace that's completely sort of customizable, right, for any application, where they can see, hey, this is something that you can actually play a few more times, you can level up and actually, unlock something even bigger, right? Or achieve more value with that actual game item, right? And also, have the secondary market to be unlocked, right? What is that? That allows anyone to actually also use the wallet to pay for something, right? What that is the additional monetization that all game developers are looking to get, right? That's what they struggle with, right? Not only have to pay 30% haircut to Google and Apple, but also they have so many policies, right? How they can actually monetize an NFT, right? What that really means is that the content, the item that you just claim and earn through the simple process using all of our toolkits, using DDC, can now be externalized outside the game now, right? Instead of like always buried inside the game, right? And then you can actually take that, you can trade it, you can sell it, you can like use it in a number of any game can actually support, right? You to bring that into. And you'll also say, hey, I'm already mastered like level 10, right? In this experience, you should be able to see some kind of recognition from another game, right? Either from same first party, second party, or third party developers, right?
That's where the real interesting stuff starts happening.
Exactly. So we're just scratching the surface, right? What all we're trying to do is like use these very, very, very clear experiences where you can touch and feel and be able to understand what's actually happening, and make that available to all developers and everyone internal and external to our project, right? So that will be available at some soon to be announced date, right? So we have, but Walter here is just like the product manager is actually focused on that. I'm just putting him on the spot, right? Anyway, so it's one of the things we're working on here, right? Where we just say, hey, let's just squeeze in the AMA and then get the team to kind of like, talk about this with the community.
Absolutely. All right, cool. Thanks for that. Yeah. And
so sorry, kind of long-winded, right?
No, it was awesome. And on my part, of course, you should be expecting to see some activity in the repos around the game demo. For example, the game demo itself, a lot of this stuff will be deployable by the community. So of course, there's going to be opportunities for you guys to be testing with us, and also building your own integrations and experimenting and playing with the features that we're discussing. The whole stack that we're talking about that's involved in this, including the game uploader and all these sorts of things, will be making their way into the open source repositories in our organization. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. And we're going to be launching bounties around it and doing lots of activities like looking to integrate it at various hackathons in the future and get some teams building towards earning some bounties on that side. And yeah, there's lots of stuff we're working on. Of course, it's going to take some time for us to kind of put it all together. Like myself, some of the team is new, but there's a ton of things coming down the pipeline. So that was about games. There was another question. Let's see. Yeah, are there more opportunities for the community to get involved with helping to grow the Cere protocol? Yeah, I think I just went into some of that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I think there's we can also ask that question too, just before that.
Right before that. Oh yeah, sorry, I skipped the question. Yeah, what's coming down the roadmap that you're excited about? Anything that you can share publicly?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
So we have in addition to so we recently completed full end-to-end integration with a actually public company in the US that does a lot of concerts, events, and radio station and music streaming and etc. Right. So we're able to integrate with them in the full end-to-end experience that's entirely powered by Cere DDC and toolkits that allows us to not only help them to launch any kind of experience for their artists, right? That can be like early access or exclusive experience, and productize, and integrate it even into their e-commerce, right? So that whenever somebody checks out, they say, hey, that not only is this pay-per-view is just a pay-per-view, but also it comes with some exclusive extra content and an NFT that can unlock that, right? And also an NFT that can be used later on at as part of a meet and greet, right? Or part of backstage access or whatever that is.
More experiential.
Yeah, a bit more experiential stuff, right? So the whole issuance, right? That's actually done using Cere Freeport, right? Basically, we help them to mint using Freeport. We also attach the actual content, right, to the NFT using Cere Freeport that will be later on streamed through the DDC, right? When some user actually come in to buy the NFT. So there's a whole process, right? So we have this universal NFT registry, right, in DDC that allow us to service, in this case, on Polygon, right? But with any EVM compatible blockchain, NFT asset or value to be minted with this additional functionality, right? So, and not only that, but we also have the necessary ETL layer, right, on top of DDC that can bring that information through our SDK, bring that information back to the application, right? Yeah. So we're able to issue, mint, and also custody, and that's these NFTs, right, for their business, right, for their users, without them ever have to leave the application, right, through the custodial wallet. And also when they go on to say sell into their marketplace, right, that we're launching with them soon, there's basically they can do the whole like custodial to non-custodial like sort of transfer, right? So start taking over that, and the whole thing works fully integrated with their own OAuth 2.0 server, right? So we use Web3.auth right underneath that, and also it's plug and play with their SDK, and provide this kind of a seamless experience that all brands and businesses want.
That means they can replace Google Auth and Facebook Auth and
exactly,
with just the wallet experience.
Exactly, yeah. What is tied to their internal native auth, right? So without that user having to go download some random tools and some random wallets that you don't know how well works with application, you don't know how, but everything works from end to end, right? And also we bring the data of who owns what NFT, who actually have used what with their NFTs, back into the application as well. So that's fully integrated. We're so very excited to be launching with a few big artists there. And then more importantly, which is the you good?
Yeah.
Okay. So more importantly, we'll also have a number of things that have just recently going through legal, right? We're at the full contract to work with people like a large animation studio to help them to build like decentralized Netflix, where all of the membership subscriptions are issued in the form of the NFT, and we'd be able to stream content directly to those token holders, right, or membership owners, and directly to through the wallet, right? Why is that important? Because I think especially for a lot of cases where the content is very like geo-locked to certain, you want to be able to work with a protocol, right, to be able to bring that data wherever they are, right? If they go from Turkey over to Poland or wherever, you want to make sure that that content can always be streamed through our protocol, and they always have access to the content, right? And then it can always be streamed to them, right, without any kind of a bottleneck, right? So that's a very, very exciting thing, where it's like, we'll have access to thousands of episodes and even exclusive new episodes, right? That has been engaged with millions and millions of audiences. So we'll be doing that. So instead of selling NFT as like purely just trinkets and collectibles, we'll be actually using direct selling as subscriptions and membership, right? We'll be streaming directly to the token holders, right?
And that'll drive a lot more traction in the use of the protocol.
Of course, right? Because together, with the sell or transfer or the payment into the this membership token, right? Part of that is to be used directly for Cere protocol to stream right to the user. So there's which is ultimately a big vision, right? Everyone else trying to get there, like the protocol labs and all these guys, we have a lot of respect for. They're trying to get there too, right? But in some ways, we're much more ahead in terms of the real business adoption, because we come from a long line of like Silicon Valley experience, where we've really focused on the growth innovation, right? And the securing and locking in a lot of these users, right, with good quality content. So and also be on top of that, I think Martine was just in ADE, right, where they met with so many record labels, so many. Martine, do you want to quickly touch on how that went?
While he's unmuting, the community itself can see a lot, because Hans is very active in the unofficial community.
Sure.
And he's actually give quite a good description about some of. I mean, he can't obviously disclose a lot, but in general, he's mentioned that some of the numbers, like 20+ meetings and this and that.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. So we'll be onboarding a lot of those users. So it's just a matter of time that we'll be able to launch a number of these things, right? And then as our protocol matures, and as we start to unlock the first couple of sets of use cases, right, which is leading the question to the roadmap, you will start to see a lot of that sort of network activity, right? We will soon get to a place where there will be full dashboards internally and externally facing, to you'll be able to see, hey, this is how many wallets are active directly streaming content, right, using Cere token as that means to access their content, right? So that will happen very soon. But again, that's probably another question.
All right, sweet. So we'll move on to the next question then. So I'll just quickly address the are there more opportunities for community to get involved with and help Cere protocol grow? Yes, there will be more and more of this. As there were efforts in the past that were quite successful, and then there was a bit of a pause. But I'm on board, and the team's going to be growing again. So we're looking at really honing in on the documentation primarily first, just to make sure that we can onboard anyone who's interested to integrate, develop, experiment, build on Cere protocol on DDC. And so that's going to be you'll see a lot of, even this week, you'll start seeing some updates in that area. We're also, as I said before, we're going to be looking at some bounty programs, trying to really focus on getting features and bugs and so forth coming from the community to be reported, not just, we're a small team. This is an open source project. Really, the way to scale is to extend out. And so you'll also start to see more of the code that we have been working on internally start to show up in those repos in our Cere network, Cerebellum organization on GitHub. So as that comes online, definitely you'll be hearing about it. And I'll be making a lot of noise and preparing some activities and engagement opportunities. And we'll also be trying to present a lot of the tech and the innovation that we're developing. And we've been kind of quiet about. We're going to try to make more noise about it and be more present in public in settings, and also talk about them more often in AMAs and different places like this. So we'll definitely be sharing anything else like proof of concepts or like this game demo and these sorts of things, which use the SDKs and kind of give examples of how the various use cases that you might be interested in also exploring.
So can I just jump in?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the biggest part about what didn't work in the past is that we had some of the BD team or some of the product team and trying to get some of our development team to say, hey, can you write some documentation? Hey, can you do something? That doesn't work, right? That doesn't work very well. What we actually have been doing, which is enforcing that specifically, so our product management team, right, has clarity and can streamline a lot of this information in a way that can be quickly consumed right downstream. And so that a marketing team, everyone else. So a lot of that work we've been doing the past few months is to instill this kind of a mentality which is we need to have clarity on and good information that can be externalized very quickly, right? So instead of having to go after the fact, right? After you build something, and you're just like, okay, now I need to spend some time writing some documentation around it, right? Which is kind of a more of the typical, right? How developers typically work in the past. Which we're
going to flip that on its head.
Yeah, so we've been doing that, and it's really helping us internally, but we'll bring that benefit to the rest of the team very soon. Okay, so let me just quickly add to jump into a couple more questions. Maybe just open it up, right?
Open. What do you mean? Open up to questions, or
well, let's just jump to a couple of these. I mean,
okay. So another question was, of course, what have we delivered on the roadmap? And what will be delivered, for example, in this quarter? Is there anything concrete?
Yeah, so I'll answer that, right? So I think we have a much more pragmatic way of driving our adoption and our platform. And much of that is really kind of what a lot of people maybe not clearly see. The main thing here is like for some of the upcoming unveil of our like launches and integrations and these things, those are actually things that we build, like for example for Da Vinci, right? What most people don't understand is that it really is a way for us to really dogfooding our technology, making sure that our smart contracts, right, Freeport, right, can serve content, attach content to NFTs, and people buy NFT can actually stream the content. And then also the wallet, right, the new Cere wallets, which is already part of that experience, which can be customized for any integration down the line, right? You'll be able to see it for the first hand, right, when you play with the game demo, which is most wallet, they don't have that kind of application awareness, right? Which is you already lose context when you try to boom, go out to your MetaMask or Wallet Connect and whatever, right? But the whole our wallet, it's really designed to allow any application to seamlessly like sort of engage the user to sort of like, hey, here's some really good way to save your progress. Here's some a really good way to show what assets you already own, right? Here's without leaving the application context, right? That's just like one area of it. So if you really talk about, hey, what's been delivered, everything that we're powering, like the marketplace, right, which can be entirely white label, like we're doing for this media company, all of the auctions and wallet interactions around it, and then the crypto fiat payment conversion, right, and direct social e-commerce integration, right, where any influencer will be soon be able to offer their NFT on a platform that allow anyone just coming, without leaving Instagram, right, be able to buy $20, right?
That's pretty big,
right? Without even leaving, So just simple things like that, right? But the problem is like most people can't stack it together, right? To be able to see how this will lead to all the integration we have in the pipeline. Right. And also in addition to that, the indexing and extracting data of not just who owns what NFT, but also who have used what NFT, to while you own this NFT, did you score and level up your score? While you own the NFT, do you actually, stream the content? Well, did you actually use it at a concert event, right? What's going on with you?
Sorry, forces me to take a break.
Sure. Yeah, I should be disabled. That's no such thing while you're working at Cere, right?
Sorry, you shouldn't have seen that.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, so there's so much of it actually stacked up together. But the biggest thing is that, what Walter, we have two new product managers, right? One is, starting tomorrow and starting 2 weeks. They're all going to be very much focused on, extracting a lot of information and work with our, marketing team and work with our, EDB, program to really externalize this, right? And so that's definitely one of the key things. So there will be a couple of very, very big integrations coming up. One of them is launching our Basel, right? We're have the last step of that kind of legal, right? Going back and forth. So that's almost there. And then also we have a ton of, I think in a couple of weeks, we have updated new roadmap, which is really kind of, take a lot of the things that we have done, but also the things that have already gone through a lot of the test and simulation, right? Like we've done a ton of work with the video streaming, right? Prototype, right? Which is to simulate, right? All these concurrent users downloading all these chunks of videos in parallel from all the CDN nodes that we're actually running, right? And then, the data activity capture, which logs all that important information, aggregate that information in a bundle, allow us to quickly identify, right? Who's serving what content to whom, and then, locking that into mapping that into Merkle tree format and store that in a formation that's on smart contracts and facilitated payment. There's so much of that that's actually being simulated now, right? So so in a lot of ways, I think we're we want to show that, hey, we're doing so much more than like say what Airweave, what Filecoin, these people are doing. Something like Filecoin, like Protocol Labs are actually doing a lot of the similar things, right? That we're doing now, right? You see that done a very good job and propagating a lot of the good information and innovations they have. But we're actually, I think in many ways we're much further along, right? But we just haven't done as good a job in terms of properly, packaging and preparing and communicating that. I think it just, so too much hustling and just like get the customers right versus like enough to actually get the rest of the community right more involved. Yeah. So that's a big difference, right? And much of what we do, I think leading to some of the other questions where I can just touch on a little bit, right? Which is very soon that you'll be able to see what the power of that sort of having this, decentralized database, right? The protocol that can allow anyone to store achievements and key behavior actions seamlessly, with any kind of a application context, right? You should be able to just like bring with your wallet and bring that information into any application that you interface with. Hey, I already scored this, like achieve this level. I already have these items unlocked, right? You can bring that into the next application. You can bring that into and also the content that you purchased, you can stream that, right, through your wallet into any application context. So those are some of the really, really big life changes. So what we're doing is much more than just, for example, what some of the other similar infrastructure protocols designed to do, which is simply storing the data, right? But that only power things like decentralized Dropbox, right? It's very limited, right? Its potential. What we really focus on also reliably bring that information back, right, to the user in a very highly personalized way, constantly evolving with, right? So this is where there's a ton of good innovation there. But I think this is just the beginning, right? We're not going to be able to sit here for the next 10 hours and try to highlight on every single piece of the innovation that we're building. What we really try to do is just like give people like a little bit of from the horse's mouth, right? Like what are we actively working on?
So I think that gives us a pretty decent overview of the Vision 2, all the things that came out of that. So maybe we can skip into some of the other topical questions that came out from the community in anticipation for the AMA. And then, of course, over the coming weeks and months, you'll be seeing a lot more of the details of the things that you just discussed come out through the EDP. So and through other channels. But what are here? One of the questions from the community was, what are you guys doing regarding new centralized exchanges?
Yeah, I mean, this is stuff that we don't want to dive into much detail, right? But it's constantly ongoing, right? We have been, very, very, active in talking right now. Like, in the past few months, it hasn't been a priority because we know what the market's doing, right? And we know that's like there's a time to really optimize for that, right? So we don't want to talk about that too much right now, and also nor do we want to talk about any kind of buyback and other things, right? So
yeah, okay. So is Kinsey Wang still with you?
Yeah, very much so. Like we have a bunch of weekly calls on the calendar, you can see, right? So I think everybody knows, right? He announced this like kind of fund, right, that he launched with Sandeep, right, from Polygon. And they're also operating kind of a accelerator along with that, right? So that has a lot of strategic value to us, to Polygon, and we have a lot of synergy working together. So that it's kind of a taken away, some of his focus, right? But strategically, yeah, 100%. He's always been with us since early 2019, right? He's still a big part of what we do.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I've met him and he's active on the call, so he's definitely still here. So I haven't checked the numbers here, but I'm just curious if you happen to, off the top of your head, have an answer for it. Someone asked, new circulation, I guess in November, will be roughly 6 billion, and we have around 500 million staked under 10%. Is there a plan to increase? I guess the question is there a plan to increase the amount of staked Cere?
Yeah, I mean the biggest value we can add there, which is really start to take a lot of these sort of like cloud operation revenue, right? If you will, right? This that it turned all of much of that will be turned into Cere token, right? To power the content, right? To power the access to the data, right? And there is so much value on top of that in terms of additional services as well, right? Much of it will be turned into actual network fees that's used to pay the validator, right? To pay the non-validator, to pay the stakers, right? That's where the sort of anyone can run a sort of kind of like the return, right? The future cash value of the proof of stake network, and understand, okay, the value of the proof of stake network is that you need to return to the people who are staking or supporting the network with real actual revenues, right? And I think that's something that we'll see start to grow in 2023, right? In small tranches, right? Of course, it's going to be like, here's 1,000 streams, right? A day. It's going to be 100,000 streams a day. Here's like 1 million streams a day, right? There are certain goals that we have in mind. And there will be a good amount of revenue. All I say is that we aim to be, kind of like top of that board, right? In terms of the real revenue in terms of Cere token that's actually being used to access the content, access the protocol, right? So that will be a game changer.
Awesome.
So that's the game changer. So yeah, that's fine. So I think all of that would change, right? With the rollout of the gaming demo, which is the next big thing everyone can look forward to. Hopefully within a couple of weeks, right? At least as I'm here talking to the.
And there will be, if I'm not mistaken, there will be new operator types classes.
Yes.
Which of course for them to participate, there'll be a lot of staking involved. So I mean, it's like, yeah.
So we'll go into that in terms of more of the kind of roadmap for the EDP program, right? Specifically the type of people and partners we're looking for to come in, like as we have, right?
Yeah, exactly. In the past, that was the
right. Sure. So we'll go into more of this.
Yeah. So the answer is yes.
So yeah. So let's quickly jump into the next phase, right?
So one of the questions from the community was how we still are staying true to the narrative of becoming a decentralized snowflake. And of course, I know that it's currently just a part of the complete data infrastructure, but it will be good to, hear your thoughts on how you think that has evolved and how it will evolve.
Oh yeah, we're actually much closer to that than we actually most people realize, right? So for the case of this media integration, we actually can actually generate a sort of a specific QR code that allows someone to access any kind of a new content being released, or like say a specific like VIP area of the concert, based on kind of the collection of NFT that they own, right? So how does that happen? That's basically when a user comes into the app, we actually ask them to permission like the ability to read into the data they have stored on DDC, right? So a big part of DDC is like flipping this whole like big data model, on its head, right? And segment and encrypt everyone's data in a permission way, and also individually segment it, right? So when they come back to the app, not only do we have access to, hey, what NFT do they own, but we can say, hey, have they actually used that NFT to attend an event? Have they actually used that NFT to stream certain content? What does a true fan of yours, look like, right? You want to be able to segment all your fans, right? Or that's like one use case, right? But artists today, they don't have the information. They can't connect with people who they connect with, they're are connected in some way, right? And they can't get to that level, right? So there is a big part of what we do and actually ties into memberships and loyalties, and even the future of influencer marketing, right? Which is kind of like where the world's going with all the brands and marketing, right? Which is productizing and bringing that information specifically, not just like what NFTs you own, but also what have you done with them, right? So that's kind of a big thing that we're doing with gaming and also memberships and all these other cool things. That's just one little glimpse right into what we're doing, because on top of the data, on top of this data cloud, you still need to extract and index and ETL that information and make that information readily available whenever you bring it to application, right? So whatever you have purchased in the past or whatever assets that you own, right? You have like very interesting discussions with these top DeFi projects, right? They know, okay, we don't have a lot of personalization. We don't have a good recommendation. We don't have, the things that people are traditionally used to, right? In Web 2. They want to be able to power that kind of things, right? The moment you come in, you can also, hey, based on your portfolio, we can make these recommendations for you. Oh, did you know that here's this pool that offer you this kind of return, right? Based on the asset you have. All these are the power they can immediately bring to these guys, right? Almost like now.
Right.
So that's
decentralized way.
Yeah, in a completely decentralized way. That's just like one glimpse, right? That we're people don't understand, right? But there's so much value on top of what we built, right? So there's so many ways for us to add these values and services on top of the decentralized data. But that's just one little glimpse. I hope that answers Martin sufficiently your question.
Martin, any more? Any more questions real time from the audience?
I think I aged like 5 years in the past year just by trying to figure out where Martin is. What he's doing.
All right. Well, in the meantime, I'd like to just say that there was a question as well. Someone pointed out that it's hard to distinguish which achievements have been made. Let's say what we've been up to, and I think we've already touched on it a few times. But the question is like, how can we figure out how can the community follow what's happening? And I mean, the generic answer here is just make sure.
Well, I mean, I'll simply break this down, right? Like we have. As much of sort of an innovation as someone like Protocol Labs. We have like 300 something GitHub repos, right? And most of these are kind of like shuffled into different stacks, right? Hasn't been enough people coming in to say, look at it as a sort of an overall, at a 30,000 foot view to say, okay, like how can we actually start packaging some of these and allow, more of the EDP members, right, to start contributing, right? So that's like one big thing. Hopefully, right, you're already, have taken full inventory, right, be able to unpack and bring to people. And then also things like Art Basel, right? We have this big unveil, right? It's one of the integrations that we're doing, right? Which will it's around December 1st. And then also I think there's a couple of big artists who's launching with this streaming platform. And we'll also have this game demo, right? That we're rolling out. We have a backlog of like 30 plus different conversations with the various gaming projects, right? And I haven't even gone back to the really big like the game contacts that I have, right, from my days there.
Right.
But yeah, so I think that's the key thing of what we are. Do we have Martin back? Is there any other questions? He's muted.
Yeah, he's muted.
Yeah, still here. Yeah, I think there's one more person typing. If that's a general comment, then we can wrap it up. I think you guys covered a lot in this AMA.
How many people is in here? How many people is
About
in?
40 max. I think we
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good turnout, right? So really happy to see that there's a good number of us here, right? That I think the going into 2023, right? So I think a big part of what we learned in 2022 is really sort of like get to the stage where we can sort of like really like dig deep into like how do we set up the community for the next phase, right? Like when we're actually really launching the protocol, when we're actually launching all these application experiences, right, on top of what we have built, right? It's really to like align us with the right people, right, and also put out the right message that attract the right people. We're very much focused on the innovation, very focused on unlocking some amazing use cases, right? So it's very thankful for all of the people who have been supporting us, and I think 2023 is going to be a very exciting year for us.
Awesome. Okay, so Martin, do you have any final questions there or comments? As I said before, we will be running these AMAs more frequently, so keep your eyes open for the next one. I think it should be in the next few weeks. And Martin still hasn't found the unmute button, so
it's okay. I think there's a little bit of rework, right, in terms of the community engagement and community management, how that ties into like the overall reshuffling of the marketing initiatives.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more kind of overall strategic roadmap, right, with that, and also with how we be taking bits and pieces and chunks of our innovation and start rolling it out to the external developers, and
that's going to be a huge part of what's coming,
right, with bounties and with specific requests, and there hasn't been a shortage of interest. It's really like have been ready for it or not. I think now we are.
Yeah.
Right. So,
and I think the code is maturing as well, so we're getting there.
Yeah. So
it makes sense to do it now.
Cool.
All right. Okay, so I'm gonna assume silence means no further questions from our time. And I think we can close it up a minute early. Let you guys get back to your evenings. We'll get back to work. Feels like we have just started our day, I think. And I appreciate the time of everybody. And we'll see you guys again next time in a few weeks.
Yeah, so let us know, right, what you guys think. So
absolutely.
Pop in. So is there anything we can improve on the format or in terms of the content? Let's let us know.
And you know where to find us, Telegram, and of course, make sure you're following the announcements on the announcements Telegram channel. And for anyone who's interested in developer-oriented stuff, tech savvy, any sort of bounty talk, any sort of anything along those lines, then make sure you join the Discord as well. And we'll see you offline.
Cool. Thank you guys. Thank you again for your support.